Is Radio a Fad? By Hugo Gernsback. Radio News, April and May 1922. We are often wont to hear at the present time the remark made that radio is nothing but a fad, and that while the public at large has gone wild about everything connected with radio, it will soon wear off, like all other fads. That radio is not a fad, but on the contrary that it is here to stay permanently and grow into undreamt of proportions, can be easily proven in dozens of different ways. In the first place, a radio entertainment, broadcast as it is, by our various stations now, is life itself. When you go to a moving picture show or when you listen to a phonograph concert, you are always conscious of the fact that neither is alive. Radio, on the contrary, is pulsing life itself. Why do more people use the telephone than the telegraph? One reason is that the telephone is a live instrument, while the telegraph is not. You can converse with your friend by telephone, you can hear his voice, and you can talk with him almost in the same way as if you were face to face. You cannot do this over the telegraph. This is one of the reasons the radio telephone will never be a fad, but it will become dearer and closer to us as the years go by. One of the greatest attractions of the radio broadcast today is that it is not only absolutely free without any cost whatsoever to the listener, but the entertainment is convenient as well, for the reason that we do not have to transport our bodies in order to listen to the entertainment, as we must do when we go to the theater or concert. In these days of hectic rush, when our lives are so complex, people prefer to stay at home evenings and listen to the entertainments there. And that is precisely why radio has taken such a tremendous hold upon the popular imagination. That radio is taking on undreamed of proportions might perhaps best be shown in a rather unexpected way. In one of the dramatic periodicals of the month, we find the amazing statement that the managers of two of the best-known theatrical chains will dismiss any and all singers, actors, or actresses who give radio entertainments over the broadcasting stations. In other words, our vaudeville and moving picture houses are afraid of radio to such an extent that they already see ruin staring them in the face, because the managers think that everybody will stay at home instead of frequenting their theaters. Of course, this is all pure nonsense, and the theatrical managers should be the first ones to realize it. It was proven, for instance, recently, when one of the Broadway musical comedies was broadcasted by radio, that the attendance the week after was greater than ever, thousands of people being turned away because they could not buy tickets. Why? Exactly for the same reason that when Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford stay at a hotel, no matter in what town, there will be a rush to see them in the flesh. It is exactly so with the radiophone. When they hear an actor's or an actress's voice over the radiophone, it certainly creates a desire among a great majority of the people to hear the performer in person. The radio broadcasting stations, therefore, do more to successfully advertise their performance than all the handbills and all the newspaper advertisements combined. Another novel point in the trend of the times was recently shown when certain music publishers banded themselves together and declared that the radiophone broadcasting stations, when sending out copyrighted music, were violating the copyright. We would not be surprised soon to have special copyright notices printed on all new musical selections somewhat as follows. The selection must not be used over the radiophone without special permission of the owners. We can see where the composers will derive the same swollen incomes from the radiophone as they derive from the phonograph records. A recent newspaper clipping from Philadelphia reports the fact that many new houses are now being equipped with aerials, one for each tenant. We wager that within 5 years, houses will give a free antenna with every apartment. This will be a big factor to rent houses more quickly once the shortage has been corrected. In the New York Times of Sunday, March 19th, we read where the Alexandria Hotel Company has called for bids on radio equipment for its new hotel at Long Beach, Long Island. This hotel will have 600 rooms, and there will be 600 radio receiving sets, one for each room. It is claimed that it will cost $150,000 to put the plan into effect. And of course, in a case of this kind, it would not do to string 600 separate aerials on the roof, unless we design a new architecture for radio hotels, to which, however, we have not come as yet. So the Alexandria will probably have loops in every room, with which the guests can play to their heart's content. We wager right now that the hotel will be a howling success, especially if the amplifiers get out of tune and howl as they sometimes are wont to do. We have stated before in these columns that radio is here to stay. With all the millions of dollars of capital being poured into the new industry, it will be readily understood why radio will never be a fad. We are now in exactly the same position as the automobile was when it first made its debut. The radiophone is in practically the same position today as was the automobile when people said that it was only a fad, as the bicycle was, and would die out sooner or later. The radio industry soon will rival the automobile industry, and this is only a modest prediction.